Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt and welcome back to another short war video, and today we have very big news to cover out of Ukraine, Russia, Poland, and the UK, and let's jump right into it. This morning, Britain says a Russian spy ship has attacked a British aircraft with lasers, and the UK has responded by deploying fighter jets and naval vessels to intercept the Russian ship, and the situation is still developing as we speak. We also have news that Romania scrambled F-16s amid a Russian attack drone entering their airspace for about 8 kilometers before the drone took evasive maneuvers and disappeared into Romanian territory. Meanwhile, Poland has responded to the attack on their railroad near Warsaw by closing the last remaining Russian consulates in Poland and have deployed over 10,000 troops to respond to the attack. And meanwhile, US officials are allegedly demanding Zelensky accept a new peace plan to capitulate to Vladimir Putin, as Russia denies even being aware of such a plan. So obviously we have very big news to cover today, and it looks like Russia is on the move, aggressing against NATO allies today, and we have very big news on many different fronts. So let's jump right into our first article, which goes to Visegrad 24. And right now, this is our biggest story of the day. We are hearing from the UK Defense Secretary John Healey that he is saying that a Russian Navy vessel has fired laser weapons on British soldiers right off the Scottish coast. And obviously, this is a huge escalation right now, and we are hearing from the UK that they are on high alert to respond to this attack, and this is a very big deal happening literally right this second. So this is an ongoing situation. We're waiting on more updates on it, but it sounds like, according to the UK, that a Russian Navy vessel has fired laser weapons right off the Scottish coast, and this is obviously a massive deal right now. So waiting on more details, but we do have some images right now and also some more information, which goes to Geo Insider. And we can see right here, the UK says a Russian spy ship fired lasers at British pilots after entering UK waters, and Defense Secretary confirmed the vessel, which is allegedly the Yantar, is designed to gather intelligence and map undersea cables, and a Royal Navy frigate and an RAF P-8 aircraft were deployed, and the rules of engagement were tightened, and right now they are calling the actions extremely and deeply dangerous, and they're warning that Britain is watching very closely, and if the ship travels south toward the UK, then the UK is ready to respond militarily to that action. So this is a wild situation happening. It looks like Russia is escalating quickly after they literally just attacked a Polish railroad the other day right outside of Warsaw. They're going even deeper and expanding their actions against the UK, so not good. But moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to EnforcerNews, and we also actually have some images allegedly showing the vessel which fired the lasers, and this is the Russian spy ship the UK is saying did this action, and let's take a look at the images. And right here you can see in our first one, there is the ship. This is allegedly the ship right here. It's alleged to be a Russian spy ship, this one right here in the forefront, and that is one of the images. But moving on to our next one, you can see there appears to be, I would assume that's a UK naval vessel behind it right there, tagging along right near it. So there it is in the water right there, and also we have one more image appearing to show maybe a thermal image here of the vessel sitting right off the Scottish coast. So that is interesting to see the images. We actually do have images of this thing right here, so waiting to see where this is going to go as of right now. But also moving into our next post here, this one goes to Inside Geopolitics, and we've also heard the UK Defense Secretary states that the UK is going to take action if the ship enters UK waters. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't taken action yet, because if it fired lasers at British pilots, then that's obviously an act of aggression, and that's enough to actually take action against it. But the UK is taking a bit of a safe approach here by waiting for it to enter their waters before they take action. So a very big story right now out of the UK. We will be monitoring that one very closely. But moving into our next post here, this one goes to OSINT Technical, and moving on to another Russian aggression here, we saw last night that multiple airports in eastern Poland, including Rzeszów and Lublin, were closed due to unplanned military activity, and for the reason for that is because Russia was launching a massive missile and drone attack on Ukraine last night, and they were launching these weapons toward the border of Poland and Ukraine, and Poland was very worried that they might be going for their territory. So we have not gotten any reports yet that Poland was violated by Russian drones, but we did see a massive NATO presence last night, as you can see right here on Flight Radar 24, of these aircraft inside of Poland monitoring the situation to ensure that Poland was not attacked yet again by Russian drones. So as of right now, Poland was not attacked, but we do hear that apparently a much larger situation happened at the exact same time. And moving into our next post here, this one also goes to OSINT Defender, because we did see that 2 German Eurofighter Typhoons and a pair of Romanian F-16s were scrambled this morning from air bases in Romania after a Russian one-way attack drone violated Romanian airspace during the attack on Ukraine, and the drone initially entered Romania and flew roughly 8 kilometers in Tulcea County before it crossed back into Ukraine and then even into Moldova, and then it re-entered Romanian airspace and headed towards a forest or an area in Galati where its radar signal was lost by the Romanian Air Force. So we did see that not only was Ukraine violated and obviously attacked, Poland was not violated, but Romania actually had a Russian drone go into its territory and seemingly take evasive maneuvers to get away from the F-16. So that is wild right there. We're also seeing Russia aggress against Romania yet again for like the 100th time at this point, and that's another big escalation. And also it is quite wild that apparently Romania lost the radar signal from the drone, which is also a bit interesting as well. So it was not shot down. The Romanians just let it fly into their airspace yet again, and I guess that's the way it's going to be. But moving into our next post here, we also saw that Ukraine has been launching massive attacks on Russian oil refineries yet again, and we did see that the Ilsky oil refinery was attacked last night by the Ukrainian attack drones. So let's take a look at the video and see the attack on camera. And this is a very short video right here, but as you can see in the distance, that is Ilsky on fire out there in the distance, and you can see from that flash. That was apparently the moment that a drone hit that oil refinery. And Ilsky is probably in foul shape at this point because Ukraine's increasing the payload on their drones and missiles. So I'd imagine that facility is really hurting right now based on that image right here that we're seeing off the video. So that is Ilsky's situation. But moving into our next one here, we also saw another one smacked, and we saw apparently a power station in the Ryazan region in Russia was also struck last night, and a fire and smoke plume can be seen. And once again, this is an expansion of the attacks on power stations between Ukraine and Russia. That seems to be the new targets that both countries are going for. So we did see right here, you can see it on the map, there it is in Ryazan. It was struck, and there's some images right there of the plant itself down here in the bottom right. But we can do better than that though, because I actually have a video of the attack in our next post here, which goes to Military News Ukraine, and this is the power plant right here in Ryazan getting hit, and you can see right here, it's about to be a very big hit. So let's take a look at this video and see the power plant getting struck and taken out by the Ukrainian forces. Let's take a look. And look at that. There it blows right there. The power plant is in deep trouble. And as you can see, a lot of orange smoke, a lot of orange fire coming off of that thing. And also it's pulsating. That is not a good sign coming from a power plant. And also, I can't tell, but it looks like, I think that might be a reflection actually up there on those two poles that are sticking up, the two towers here. But it looks like this power plant's in deep trouble. It's probably taken out of action at this point. And as you can see in the video, it is some very big strikes that were occurring in Ryazan last night by the Ukrainian armed forces. So that pretty much rounds out that video. I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. But as you can see, a power plant has been struck very severely. But moving into our next one here, this one goes to Nexta. And moving on to a different story here, we're also hearing that Poland is responding to the recent Russian attack on their railroad right outside of Warsaw. And of course, it was confirmed by Polish authorities that apparently it was 2 Russian security service members sabotaged and blew up their railroad and then fled into Belarus to get away from the Polish authorities. So that was what we heard yesterday from this attack. And also, we have now heard that Poland has formally accused Russia of that act, and they have shut down the last Russian consulate in the country as a result of that. And that decision came in direct response to the railway sabotage attack that we saw outside of Warsaw. And right now, Poland says Russia will only have one remaining diplomatic mission, and that will be the embassy in Warsaw. But all the other Russian consulates in Krakow, Poznan, and also Gdansk have all been closed as of today. And Sikorsky also says that Poland would respond to the sabotage not only diplomatically, but apparently they're going to respond in another way that we'll find out in just a minute, but he did not reveal any details as of the moment. But we actually do have that scoop right here in the video about what Poland is going to do and to respond to this outside the diplomatic front. And moving into our next post here, this one also goes to Visegrad 24, and we've heard that Poland will deploy 10,000 troops to protect critical infrastructure as a result of this attack, and the defense minister says the decision follows the railway sabotage, and the troops will be tasked in particular with securing their railway lines. So 10,000 troops, that is no small deployment right there, and these troops will be protecting Poland from any future Russian sabotage. And once again, we're waiting to see if any more actions are going to be taken by the Polish authorities to respond to this, since there's now been a confirmed Russian attack on the railway. So a very big incident happening with that, and you might notice a pattern here. There seems to be a very strong Russian aggression against NATO allies right now as of today, and it's ramping up severely, and it looks to be getting much worse. So moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Visegrad 24 yet again. And we've also heard from the Rat. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that the relations between Moscow and Warsaw have completely degraded after Poland's decision to close the Russian consulate general in Gdansk. So obviously the Rat is totally ignoring the fact that Russia just sent in saboteurs to destroy the Russian railroad, and they successfully did it. They destroyed the railroad right outside of Warsaw, and the Rat is acting like Russia didn't even do that. They're denying it, of course, and now the Rat's saying that the relations have completely degraded. So, you know, it's the usual Russian stupidity at this point. It's just stupidity. It's meaningless statements, and the Rat's job is to create confusion, and that's what he's doing again, once again today. So, moving away from that stupid post right there and on to our next one. This one goes to Dasha Burns, and we've also gotten a very wild story right now coming out of the United States. Because after Russia's been aggressing against our NATO allies and also attacking Ukrainian civilians left and right, we've heard the US is back again with another peace plan, which is also known as a capitulation plan for Putin's sake. And we've seen here that allegedly a senior White House official has told this reporter here that a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine could come as soon as this week and likely by the end of the month. And they also say that they believe Ukraine is in a position to accept a deal that Witkoff has hammered out with Russia, according to reporting from Axios, according to Dasha. And as for the Europeans, they don't really care about the Europeans, it turns out. Even though NATO is literally consisting of the United States and Europe, apparently the United States doesn't care about Europe very much. So this is the reporting right now. It sounds like the U.S. is once again starting this clown show back up, trying to force Ukraine to accept a peace deal and basically capitulate to Vladimir Putin after Vladimir Putin has literally just launched attacks on NATO allies. So spineless is a mild word for it at this point. I can't even really hide my frustration with it. This is spineless to the umpteenth degree right now, and it's really shocking to hear that this clown show is starting yet again between U.S. officials and the Ukrainian government. So I'm hoping that maybe something comes out saying that this is not necessarily the case. I'm hoping that's the case, but I'll be honest with you, my hopes are not very high as of right now. And also I have some more news about the stupidity right here, and moving on to our next post here. This one goes to Fitux Network, and according to Fitux, the Financial Times is allegedly reporting that the plan aligns with Kremlin maximalist demands, meaning basically Ukraine capitulates, including having Ukraine's army, giving up certain weapons, and ceding the Donbass region in its entirety, and Zelensky is reportedly displeased, and also I'm not shocked by that. I think anybody with a brain would be displeased with that plan, because basically what the U.S. is telling Ukraine to do is to give up and go home after Russia's taken their territory at this point. So, like I said, spineless to the maximum right now from the U.S. officials, and I'm hoping that this is not true, but like I said, I'm not very hopeful about it. And they're making wild claims to Zelensky right now. They think they have Zelensky basically in a chokehold because he's currently having some domestic political issues right now, but Zelensky would be foolish to accept something like this. This is basically giving up. So basically, to break this down a little bit further, what Russia is trying to do here with this new peace plan that they're coming up with, if it's even true in the first place, is Russia is trying to get Ukraine to basically surrender, also cut their military in half, so that way Russia can rebuild their armed forces, which are extremely weak right now, and then reinvade Ukraine at a later date when it's more convenient for Vladimir Putin to do so. But also, we've gotten some more news about this whole situation in our next post here, which goes to Michael Weiss, and we've also heard that the Rat, the Kremlin spokesperson, is sprinkling some cold water on these efforts, and we've heard that apparently on Wednesday, the Rat said there's been nothing new in addition to what was discussed in Anchorage, Alaska, referring to the meeting that occurred in August, and Peskov was responding to a question about a report by Axios that a new draft peace plan had been discussed by American and Russian representatives. So what Peskov is saying here is America will do what we want and force Ukraine to do it, or else Russia will basically start World War III. So that is what they're saying right now, essentially. And I would say, personally, the Russians can go to hell. That's what I would say about it. But the American government appears to think that capitulating is the better way to go. So make that make sense. It's irritating beyond belief to hear this clown show starting again. It's extremely irritating to me, and I'm honestly holding back a lot of words I would like to say right now about how spineless this truly is. But moving into our next post, this one goes to OSINT Defender. And I want to show you all this for a second because, you know, the U.S. tells us that Russia wants peace so bad, but let me show you what Russian peace looks like. This right here was what happened last night. This was a Russian attack on Ternopil inside of Ukraine. They hit a high-rise apartment building in western Ukraine, which is in the city of Ternopil. Right here you can see, this is what the Russians think about civilian life. This is what they think about it. They demolished the building. They probably take out tons of people inside the building that were probably in it. This is what they think about people's lives right here. Look at this. More damage and more destruction right here of residential civilian buildings, by the way. And here's more of it right there. And this is what the Russians think about people. This is what they think. This is Putin's method right here, is to go in and take out civilians. So should we be negotiating with something like that? Absolutely not. But apparently the U.S. thinks otherwise. So make that make sense. But also moving into our next post here, this one goes to Visegrad 24. And by the way, that missile that hit the apartment building in Ternopil, by the way, apparently 25 people are now dead after that attack. That's innocent civilians, by the way, including 3 children that are apparently deceased in that attack. Another 73 people were injured, including 15 children. So children, women, men, everybody's getting caught up in this. There's no discrimination whatsoever by the Russians about who they're attacking, and they're attacking civilians nonstop. So Russia really wants peace, right? They really want peace. And the U.S. officials are apparently blind. I think they need to go see an eye doctor because they don't see this happening, apparently, which is horrific. And also, they don't see the attacks on NATO either happening. And also, they don't see the fact that Russian ships are off the coast of the UK right now firing lasers at pilots. Wow, the Americans must really need an eye doctor bad. But horrific stuff. I can't even show this video right here, by the way. I'll probably get the video age restricted, but it's right here on Twitter, by the way, if you want to see this horrific act taking place, which is just horrifying to see that. But also, by the way, Russia wants peace so bad here. Moving into our next post from FlyTouch yet again, apparently Iran sent nuclear scientists on a second covert trip to Russia last November, meeting with a sanctioned Russian Weapons Research Institute to seek dual-use technologies that could support nuclear weapons design. So Russia is also trying to nuclearize Iran. That's also what they're trying to do. We also heard reports that 700 Russian nuclear scientists are helping at the Iranian nuclear facilities. So that's also interesting as well. I guess Russia is so peace-loving, they want to nuclear arm a country which is known for being a lunatic state. So that's also another good sign that Russia wants peace. But moving into our next post here, by the way, we have a post from Conflict Radar. And the U.S. officials are still wasting money down in the Caribbean, by the way, because we find it so important to respond to the Venezuela situation. We're going to totally ignore the fact and all the war crimes that Putin's committing, and we're going to commit tons and billions of dollars of military equipment down to Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, because of course Venezuela is doing stuff nearly as bad as Russia, of course. Right here you can see there are some tilt-rotor aircraft in the area, and here's some more right here, and they're doing exercises off of Trinidad and Tobago, allegedly preparing for an attack on Venezuela, but we're not really sure. But right now, the U.S. is spending money like it's going out of style in that area, and I guess we're not so deep in debt as maybe we thought, but I thought we were 38 trillion in debt, and we're spending more billions right here and just wasting it and blowing it into the air at this point. But that's what we're seeing right now in Venezuela, by the way, folks. But with that is actually our last post of the video. And also, by the way, sorry for sounding very frustrated here at the end of the video, but I'll be honest with you, I am extremely irritated right now with the U.S. position if that turns out to be truly the case. But I'm hoping and praying that the U.S. officials will come out and say that the reports are simply mistaken and that they're not truly trying to get Ukraine to capitulate. But like I said, I'm not so hopeful about that, so we'll have to wait and see. But before you go, folks, if you found the video informative, smack the like button and also subscribe to the channel as well if you want to get more real-time updates just like this one, and we try to post them daily if it's possible when there is enough news to cover, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, by the way, folks, if you want to support our channel financially to keep us on the air, you can do so on our Patreon page, and the link is in the description below for Patreon, where you can go over there and sign up for a monthly membership, and it could be as little as $5 or $10 a month. It's totally up to you, but any amount helps the channel tremendously, and we do appreciate our Patreon supporters very much. But with that, please be sure to join us at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight for our next nightly war news stream, and we will be covering all the remaining news throughout the day, and also the situation with the UK that's still developing as we speak. But we will see you all then at 10 p.m. Eastern, and with that, bye-bye for now.